Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Pickle and Social, a sprawling and absolutely spectacular venue in Buford, Georgia, and host site of the DUPR, Georgia Collegiate Super Regional. John Laser, alongside my great friend and professional pickleballer, Rachel Roney. And Rachel, it has been a fantastic day and a half now of competition. We're down to the final quartet, the final four semifinals, and as you look out on our feature court here, court one in the indoor section of Pickle and Social, and let me tell you, they have a sprawling and beautiful outdoor section as well. You see that right off the bat today, we've got Gator on Gator crime. It is the University of Florida's 1 team against the University of Florida's 2 team, and with a lot of programs, that would indicate that there is some sort of gap between these two teams. Not the case with the Gators. Django Chisong, Max Rule atop that Florida 2 team, and of course we've seen them in national competition over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. This is watch some of the previous round, and this should be a great matchup. The ultimate rivalry, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're looking at Zoe Routson right there, bottom of your screen in the all-white for the Florida 1 team. I was just talking to Zoe before she took the court for warm-ups, and I said, how did you guys select these teams? Because as I've said, Django and Max certainly play atop that Florida ladder, as it were, and have been for the last couple of years. And she said, you know, we just kind of find that rhythm and balance when we're practicing and warming up. This is the way we felt like it aligned to the best. The reason that Zoe's team is indicated as Florida 1 is because the cumulative DUPR scores for that 4 is a little bit higher than it is for Django and his team. Let's introduce you to both of these teams that we're going to see. Of course, it'll be women's doubles followed by men's doubles and then mixed doubles both ways if necessary. Florida 2 consists of Django Chisong, really needs no introduction, one of the finest players in the country, 21 years of age. His men's partner, Max Rule, 19-year-old from Tampa, has really played his way. You'll see the elevation in his game when he takes the court here in a few minutes. Caitlin Kahn, Adele Dorian. We saw Adele and Caitlin last year in the Florida Super Regional, play some spectacular pickleball. So that's the 4 that will represent Florida's 2nd team. Now for Florida's top team, or Florida 1, the top seed from Florida coming in North Carolina, whom we'll see in our 2nd semifinal, the top overall seed. It's Zoe Routson, as I mentioned, 23-year-old from Orlando, Florida. Her female partner will be Martina Sunston, a 20-year-old originally from Norway, but has been in Florida for 13 years. And the men's counterparts, Jake Bauer and Christian Frankie, and we just saw Jake and Christian put on a show, Rachel,
Absolutely.
in the quarterfinal round, as it looked like it was going to be very dramatic against Miami, but when we got to mixed, Jake, I felt like, and Christian really took over.
Yeah, the mix really just set them apart, I think, in that second round. So, but yes, quite a split in the men's and women's to kick it off. So weren't sure if we were going to see a dream breaker there.
Yeah, I thought there was the potential. It was a player that we know very well, Kyle Araujo for Miami in that second mixed game, but just never really got it going. Christian Frankie really just kind of took over in that match, and we'll see again Christian Frankie and his male partner, Jake Bauer, in the men's match in just a moment. We're going through some of our rules with our lead referee here representing DUPR throughout this Super Regional. Norm Clinkscales will be our head referee for the first semifinal. Tony Jaden, well known in collegiate pickleball circles, will be our lead referee for our 2nd semifinal. Again, I'm John Laser. She's Rachel Roney. Semifinal number 1 is on deck. Florida versus Florida from Georgia. Zoe Routson just heading over, getting a fresh Vulcan, which is the new ball of the new Collegiate Pickleball Tour. Exciting times in collegiate pickleball, DUPR, MLP, PPA, all coming together to make college pickleball even better. And the first ever Collegiate World Championship will in fact be at the UPA World Championships coming up this fall. Of course, a truncated schedule of super regionals here as we work in the spring or towards the spring, and we'll have national championships not at this facility but in the Atlanta area in early April. John Laser, Rachel Roney, look at the win percentage chances. I mentioned previously there's not a big gap, if at all, between Florida 1 and Florida 2, and in fact when you look at the matchup of Sunston and Routson against Kahn and Dorian, coin flip, Rich.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, I think. Ready to get it going.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at the contrast in styles, and as I mentioned, saw Dorian and Kahn play a couple of times last year, and Dorian, despite her smaller stature, can really play the power game, particularly in the women's game. And we're going to see that on display. Routson and her partner, as we've discussed, relatively newer pair. When you look at Sunston, who's been playing a little while, been in Florida for 13 years, originally the native of Norway. Then you look at Routson, and she says, I've only been playing for a year in terms of pickleball,
incredible.
but obviously comes from the tennis background.
Yeah, lots of tennis converts out here, and I think we'll see that play out in their style today.
I love when we look at hobbies for Zoe Routson. The first thing she lists is riding motorcycles. A thrill seeker for sure.
Yeah.
As, again, it'll be women's doubles up first, followed by men's doubles, then mixed doubles. As we started doing last year, the true home and away advantage as to who gets to respond to mixed doubles, we won't know those lineups until the conclusion of gender doubles, and that was a change that was put in last year. You may recall in Virginia Beach at the Virginia Super Regional. Speaking of the Virginia Super Regional, that at the time was the largest Super Regional. Well, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. First Nationals, you'll recall, back in 2022, won by UVA, 150 players. 2023, UNC, whom again you'll see here in just a little bit. They won that 2023 National Championship, did the Tar Heels, 360 players. I had the privilege of calling the third National Championship just this past November in 2024. 64 schools, March Madness-style bracket. It was just an incredible scene in Dallas. Utah Tech prevailed as the third ever Collegiate National Championship. And as I mentioned, fourth Nationals coming up April 11th through the 13th back here in Atlanta. 64 schools once again, 600 expected players. For you, it'll be Routson and Sunston against Kahn and Dorian here in women's doubles, 50-50 in terms of the win percentage. North Carolina able to defeat Samford in their quarterfinal matchup. We also had North Florida against Florida 3. How about that? Florida had 3 of the 8 teams in the quarterfinals, and this is one of the deepest fields that we've seen at a super regional. Really speaks, Rach, to the depth of this Gator program.
Absolutely, yeah. And it, as you said, it's interesting how they put these teams together. Obviously, the margins are very minuscule between these matchups today, so really incredible to see the rise and just the numbers that we're getting now in collegiate pickleball. And you can sense the energy around the teams cheering for each other because of the way the format works. So I love it.
Yeah, and also the venues, the rise in the venues as to where these super regionals are being contested. Of course, we're the proprietors of Performance Pickleball in Richmond. We look forward to hosting another super regional coming back around on the Collegiate Pickleball Tour in the fall. But you recall last year opening up that tour in Port St. Lucie, Florida at the Pickleball Club of Port St. Lucie. There was a great energy there, but it didn't rival this energy that we felt here at Pickle and Social. And kudos to Pickle and Social, by the way, for the job they've done hosting this event, including all the help that they've provided to you, myself, and the Director of Performance Productions and our Executive Producer, Cam Meeks. You know, again, as people that are in the facilities business, we travel around, we see other facilities, and this one kind of takes your breath away when you walk into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a compound. There's just so much that you can do, from pickleball to the food and outdoor areas. So really cool facility.
Florida 2 is being given the benefit of this warm-up time. Florida 1 just defeated Miami a couple of moments ago, so they're hot, they're ready to go. But this Florida 2 team actually worked their way through a little bit quicker through their quarterfinals. So now we are set and ready to go, says Norm Clinkscales, again, our lead referee. Semifinal number 1 time here from Buford, Georgia, and Pickle and Social. Again, Kahn and Dorian taking on Sunston and Routson. Let's introduce you to these players that you may or may not be familiar with. Right there, that's Zoe Routson in the white skirt, white top, that is returning the serves. Top of the screen from her partner, Martina Sunston. Pink hat, near side of the screen, that is Adele Dorian. And in the blue shorts, her partner is Kahn, Caitlin Kahn. So those are the 4 competitors in women's doubles. I think all 4 are about ready to go, but you have this warm-up window, and they're going to use it. Like I said, Routson and Sunston were just on the court not too long ago.
Yeah, you have to take advantage because in this format, you got to come out of the gate swinging with rally scoring. So that warm-up's even more important, I think, in this format.
Yeah, without a doubt, because with rally scoring, like you say, you have any jitters at the beginning of a match, and suddenly you find yourself in a big hole. And we saw that throughout the quarterfinal round as well. 270 players at this super regional. Look at the schools that competed over the course of this weekend. North Carolina still alive. Samford, who advanced to the quarterfinals. Florida, 3 teams in the quarters. Clemson, a little bit of a startling loss today in the quarterfinals to Georgia. Stanford, Georgia, as I mentioned, Mississippi State, North Florida, Florida State, Miami, Kennesaw State, Fresno State, UNC Charlotte, and the list goes on in a second, but we are underway, and a phenomenal shot from Kahn to get us started, and the quick 1-0 lead for Florida 2. Sunston had Kahn on the defensive, and eventually it pays off. Sunston kind of standing back off the line there, Rachel, not usually advisable, but
right.
If you're going to be back there, swing away.
Yeah, with the tennis background, I think you'll see some of these players stepping back to have that bigger swing, but we'll see how that plays out.
Nice charge
Good
from
attack.
Routson. (3-1) for Routson and Sunston. Excellent return from Kahn. Sunston maybe a quarter step slow trying to charge in on that ball. 2-3, back to the serve of Adele Dorian. See the seeds there next to the teams competing. And a rip from Kahn just right down the middle. I like that shot selection there, Rach, because Routson and Sunston have seemed a little bit slow to the line.
Yep, and then that hesitation in the middle she really took advantage of, so.
Kahn once again the aggressor.
Oh, good shot there.
Chose to let that go, and it was a wrong choice. You saw her tapping her paddle there.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth the risk, but not in that situation.
4-all is our score. Nice
reset.
Con apologizing, but as you see the pace in pickleball in general, but certainly in collegiate pickleball rising, Routson certainly wasn't offended.
Yeah, these teams have all been extremely just showing some great sportsmanship all around, I think.
And of course, all these Gators play, practice, scrimmage, as they call it, together back in Gainesville.
Nice lob. Yeah, I think that makes it interesting because they obviously practice together, so they're going to know strategically what they're trying to execute more so than some of the other teams that they're playing.
Dorian got a bit off balance there, and you see a little momentum for Florida 1 as they take the 7-5 lead. It's a serve of Martina Sunston, 20 years old, Tonsberg, Norway, but she's lived in Orlando, Florida for 13 years. Played high school tennis, quarterfinals of DUPR Nationals last year, as I mentioned, down in Dallas. And yet
Another
again,
middle
they
ball.
find the middle, and immediately Routson looked to Sunston, not in an accusatory way, but to say, which of us needs to take that?
Right. And that's where that communication needs to come together on those middle balls.
Sunston replies in kind. And the answer generally is the left side player, provided both of you are there.
Right. Generally left or the angle, you know, we're looking at that, but they're definitely getting that middle riddle solved so far.
Serve from Routson.
Another attack.
And again, Kahn just rips it on the body.
Yep.
50-50 shot, said DUPR prior to the match, and it's played that way thus far. Largest gap we've seen for either side has been 2, and that was just at 7-5 for Florida 1. Now 8-all off the serve of Adele Dorian. Couple in succession for Florida 2. Dorian, 22 years of age, from Pensacola. Lengthy tennis background, as so many of our competitors have.
Really nice two-handed backhand there.
I was just about to say we haven't seen too many dink rallies, and just then Dorian started firing away, but it was effective. Got Sunston back on her heels. That time it's Sunston who's able to rip it with the backhand. And men's doubles coming up. Max Rule, Django Chisong, Jake Bauer, Christian Franke. You start to see the crowd and the spectators condense over here. They've done a nice job, has Pickle and Social, taking a court out of play to create a grandstand area. Again, you can just feel that rise with the Collegiate Pickleball Tour. Felt it in Dallas. It was just a frenetic, in a great way, environment. Had the 360 surround sound for that Utah Tech victory. The change ends with just the slightest of leads for Florida 1 at 11-10. We'll keep it with you. Again, we are John Laser, Rachel Roney, Cam Meeks is our executive producer. On Clink Scales, dutifully looking over for my direction, which I often forget to give.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Ready to proceed. Of course, our thanks to Jacob Smith, Hunter Iono, Bennett from DUPR, inviting us back yet again for the first tour for Collegiate Pickleball. We'll be with you this weekend, and again, we'll have the call up in New Jersey in a few weeks for the New Jersey Super Regional. In between the Ohio Super Regional and to anchor for 4 Super Regionals this spring, back to Scottsdale and the Pickler in March. (12-10). 11-12. Dorian with the fist pump, and rightfully so. And you look at the makeup of Pickle and Social, and they've done a nice job screening and shading out the windows that are on the backside. You see that there with the cars kind of bleeding through. And it's not a significant disadvantage from a visual perspective on the end that Florida 2 is on now, but I think if you were picking an optimum side, it would be the side that Florida 1 is on at the moment. Looking back to a more static wall.
Yeah, it can be very nominal, but it makes a difference on the visuals that you see, the shadows, and you need every advantage you can get in these situations.
12-13.
I like all these two-handed backhands I'm seeing.
That
the
reminds
rise
you
of
of
the
your
two-hand.
tennis days, huh?
A little bit.
Kahn trying to trickle that across, and as it doesn't, with this rally scoring format, you see 3-point lead, the largest for either side in this game.
Oh,
That
lucky
one does
roll.
trickle across, and Florida 2 desperately needed it to.
Yeah. That was a good moment for that, for sure.
And pulling back within 1. So difficult. I used to say all the time when I called a lot of football, basketball, when you'd have like Wildcats versus Wildcats or something like that. You want to say Gators, but they're both the Gators. Routson got a little bit overzealous there. Sometimes you get exactly the ball that you want.
It's too juicy. Yeah, that's the unlearning of the tennis player, not taking too much of a backswing on those shots.
And Kahn hatcheted it off, but it is Dorian that set it up, and that's 4 in a row points for Florida 2. And they take what was a 12-15 deficit to a 16-15 lead. Five in a row.
Yeah, they're pulling the trigger first on some of these, and I think that's what's setting up the advantage for them.
So it was a 15-12 lead for Florida 1. They've dropped 5 points in a row. They need a timeout. We'll take it with them back to our first semifinal in Beaufort in just a moment. Oh, what an exchange, and it was nearly a friendly tape, but it was not, as that drifted long on Adele Dorian. Dorian wanted to ask our referee Norm Clinkscales, but had a pretty good look at it. Definitely did look long.
Yeah, the tape sent it a little wide there.
17 all. And 3 in a row out of the timeout for Florida 1, and that's a championship pedigree. When things start going against you and you can make an adjustment in the timeout. 18-17.
And another there. Yeah, that timeout really just flipped the momentum for these teams.
And now Florida 2 is going to take a timeout. So it was really back and forth, never more than a 2-point deficit for either side until we got to 15-12 for Florida 1. 5 in a row, points reeled off by Florida 2, timeout taken by Florida 1. I know this is getting a little confusing with the Florida 1 and the Florida 2, but Routson and Sunston take that timeout. Now they've rattled off 4 points in succession to lead 19-17. And again, in a match that we believe is going to be as closely contested as it is. We'll look at the win percentages in men's doubles in just a moment, but I'll give you a teaser. It is not very wide in terms of the percentages between Frankie, Bauer, Chisong, and Rule. So, obviously, every game in this format important. This stretch right now, hugely impactful. Had a ball come onto the court from an adjacent court, but did not impact play. Good job by our referee, Norm Klinkscales, to let the point continue. And now it is game point for Florida 1. And there it is. From up 15-12 to down 17-15 to victory 21-17. What a bounce-back performance from Routson and her partner Martina Sunston. Florida 1 takes women's doubles, men's doubles on deck. We'll step aside from the mics for just a second. Be right back with you from Pickle and Social in Beaufort, Georgia. Women's doubles goes to Florida 1 as the tandem of Routson and Sunston prevail. So a 1-0 lead for Florida 1. We move to men's doubles. It was 50-50 in women's doubles and played just like it. And as we look at the DUPR match predictor, I mentioned it wasn't a very wide gap, and this is as slim as it can be. 51-49. Christian Frankie, Jake Bauer favored. You see their cumulative DUPR of 5.260. Over 49% for Django Chisong and Max Rule, 5.251. I will not go counter to numbers, Rachel. People that know me never question Vegas, never question the numbers. But having watched all four of these players quite a bit, Django Chisong, there's just something about him that I've always admired in his game. And when I'm in a match, that's the player that I want.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Numbers don't lie, obviously, but it's so close that anything could happen here in this one.
Now, with that said, Christian Franke really showed me something in the quarterfinals. He played some outstanding pickleball, both in men's doubles and in mixed doubles, but it was Jake Bauer who really tilted that match against Miami in the favor of Florida 1. So, with all those things said, quite a bit of intrigue. And then you have the leader of this Florida program, Max Rule, who filled out our bio sheets for us, and we always appreciate that from Max and our friends from DUPR. So we don't know what's going to happen, but that's the beauty, because a lot of times coming in college pickleball, when it was first starting out back in 2022 on the DUPR Collegiate Tour at the time, now the Collegiate Pickleball Tour, you kind of knew in a lot of the matches how it was going to go, who was going to win. There was a lot of gaps, I think, in the talent and the experience, maybe a better word than talent at the time. Parity is great for drama, and drama is great for interest.
Yeah, everyone wants to see a close match. Doesn't matter who the teams are.
One way or the other, Florida, the University of Florida, is going to be represented in our championship match, which, of course, we will have for you here on our DUPR live stream. Let's introduce you to the players. Blue shirt, that's Max Rule. Pink hat, that's Django Chisong. Up close to the net, returning serve. Forward hat is Christian Franke, and his partner in the backwards cap is Jake Bauer. See that length from Franke, able to reach out over the line. The early swat for the early advantage. That's a newer shot in pickleball, that two-handed topspin backhand drop. Franke didn't execute it there, but I've seen him execute it all morning. It's wide for Django Chisong. So 2-1 for Florida 1.
Good attack there.
Yeah, see how a point just sets itself up, Rach, that serve return from Rule all the way to the baseline. Bauer never really got established in that point.
Yeah, that serve return is so critical to get up to the line quickly, and they did a great job there.
2 apiece. 3-2 Florida 1. Rule attacking to the forehand side, and it works out for him. And Chisong and Rule, we've seen play seemingly forever. Bauer on the other side, 21 years of age, from Daytona Beach, Florida. Man after my own heart. He is a journalism major. Phenomenal singles player. Qualified for the Pro Singles main draw, PPA Daytona.
And that could certainly come in handy if we end up in a dream breaker.
He's basically me. He also loves poker. 5-3. And Florida 2 desperately needs this men's doubles match after dropping women's doubles. Epitome of a firefight, and Franke able to win it.
Franke stays so low on those balls once he's up at the line. Really sets him up well.
Oftentimes the best points are won on a fluke, and that was the best point of the match thus far. Five. Chasong saw just the slightest crevice there and was able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting in this format. I feel like the strategy, that first to 11 is just keeping it as close as possible, and then you start to see a team pull away the second half. Wow. He stayed so low on that. He was able to kind of take that attack and send it right back.
And when you stay low like that, it allows you to get higher on that paddle angle. Got the depth in. And it is the lead for Florida 1, 11-8, as will change ends. Again, Florida 1 prevailed in women's doubles, have the lead in men's doubles. Quick timeout, right back to Pickle and Social. (11-8), the lead for Christian Frankie, his partner Jake Bauer. And it is Frankie to serve.
He wanted that one back.
Saw the look of disgust on Bauer's face. Really all you needed to know about how he felt about that shot. And that's the one hindrance for Chasong there, is the lack of length. You can see him trying to kind of reach in there, take that out of the air.
Yeah, having that extra height certainly helps at the kitchen.
Didn't quite get that lob high enough. 10-13.
Great point.
Incredible reset by Bauer, but Chasong was just in too attacking a position. Chasong, the service error, and as costly as those are in traditional scoring, we talk about it all the time. In rally scoring, it's literally giving away a point.
Right. Yeah, that's not what you want to do in these rally scoring matches.
Tape helper. That time the look of disgust from Bauer was not at himself, but at his luck.
At his luck, yeah, absolutely.
See Max Rule trying to fire himself up a bit. Score of 12-14. It was attackable. Bauer was right, just a millisecond too slow to it.
Yeah. They're doing a nice job of really setting the points up. It's a matter of who's pulling the trigger first.
Such a slim margin for error on those little flick lobs. And this has really tilted a bit to a timeout for Florida 1. With Florida 2 now grabbing the lead. And again, you saw Florida 1 not pulling away, but kind of taking that lead position in this game. And just like in women's doubles, it's flipped back. Now, Florida 1's women's tandem of Routson and Sunston did a nice job taking a timely timeout and then just completely flipped the script in women's doubles. And now that's what Florida 1 is looking to do here as Florida 2, Rach, trying to level this matchup.
Yeah, but it's interesting how we're seeing a similar pattern play out here, so we'll see what happens after this timeout.
One timeout remaining for Chisong and Rule as Chisong to serve. Great dink by Christian Frankie.
Yeah, it really pulled him off that shot for the miss.
Not sure how that ball didn't come across, but it didn't. And that look short was short for Bauer. 16 apiece. Oh, what a point right there for Rule and Chisong. Frankie and Bauer right on the precipice of winning it. There was a shot in there from Max Rule that was an incredible reset. Backhand drive, the dipper from Chisong, and it's 18-16.
The hybrid drop there.
And really working that backhand of Chisong. Looked like a subtle shot from Bauer, but there was a complexity to that.
Yeah, there's been a couple misses there on the backhand rolls, backhand side in general.
Oh, what a counter.
A little high on that roll. They took full advantage of it.
There's a couple of balls earlier in that rally that I thought Florida 1 could attack. They chose not to. But eventually they got to it. 18 apiece. Bauer just could not get out of the way. That ball sailed on Chisong. And fortune shining on Django.
Yeah, Jake knew that one was heading out. He just couldn't get out of the way in time.
Oh, Frankie has not missed that very often.
Yeah.
And that takes it to game point for Florida 2. Trying to even this match. 2018, score freeze in place. Oh, inadvertent changeup from Jake Bauer at the perfect time. Saw Rule bracing himself for pace and didn't get it.
Yep. See if they can bring this to 20 apiece.
They can.
And they do.
Sensational shot from Bauer, 20 all. (21-20). Saw the choice there by Bauer to drive, and the block was perfect from Chisong.
Yeah, it's putting him in a good position here to finish this off.
Again, that backhand elevated from Django. 21 apiece. Crowd is just growing all around the court. Our baseline cam is perfectly set up behind them, but there's a throng on the baseline at the end where Florida 1 is serving right now. Django went for it, didn't find the corner. And now it's game point for Frankie and Bauer.
And that's it.
Rule was not expecting that drive, but also not expecting it elevated, and it ends quickly for Florida 1. It's just like women's doubles, looked like Florida 2 had the game in their grasp. Florida 1 able to turn it around and take the first 2 games in this match. Florida 1 seeking the finals. Just needs one mixed win to get there. John Laser, Rachel Roney, back with you from Pickle and Social. Just a spectacular facility here outside Atlanta in Buford, Georgia. Look at our match summary from DUPR. University of Florida 1 has a 2-0 lead on the University of Florida 2. As we now have our mixed doubles lineup, you see it will be Jake Bauer and Martina Sunston for Florida 1, trying to close it out against Chesong and Dorian. Django Chesong, Adele Dorian. Look at our matchup predictor, and we looked at it in men's doubles, and there we do see that men's doubles 51% to 49% for Frankie and Bauer, and that term held. As you looked at the cumulative dupers of that pair, it was 50-50 in women's doubles. Look at mixed doubles number 1. Florida 2 actually has the largest discrepancy here, 56% to 44% for Chesong and Dorian. But on the other side, in the second mixed, which would be Christian Frankie and Zoe Routson against Max Rule and Caitlin Kahn, that one DUPR would favor Florida 1, 57% to 43%. So Florida 2 taking their shot here. They realize backs against the wall and all the cliches that you can come up with, they have to have it here to force a match or a game in mixed doubles 2 in which they wouldn't be favored. But it's better to have a chance, as they say,
right,
than to have no chance at all.
Yeah, I think that was a good call to do that so they could try to hang in this match with that percentage.
This is our first semifinal of the day. Second semifinal will feature the top overall seed, the North Carolina Tar Heels. As they worked their way past Georgia into the semifinal, they'll be taking on the North Florida Ospreys. And I'm just excited I get to say Ospreys as often as I will during our second semifinal. But in all sincerity, quite the run for the Ospreys. They'll have their hands full in that second semifinal.
What is an osprey?
We're going to get into that a little bit later. I know it's a bird.
I thought it was a bird, but
learn all kinds of stuff as we move about geographically from our home in Virginia. A lot of open area, and Sunston had no trouble finding it. Quick 2-0 lead for Florida 1. They have the 2-0 lead in terms of games as well. Rachel's looking up what an osprey is. That's going to be prevalent.
Yeah.
In a few moments, if Florida 1 continues to play like this. Talk about the play of the University of Florida, though. The Ospreys had to defeat the Gators, Florida's third team, advance to the quarterfinals in this stacked field. Just mentioning all the schools that were here a long time ago, I got sidetracked. I believe I was at UNC Charlotte. Central Florida's here, Auburn, High Point out of North Carolina, Washington University in St. Louis, Alabama, the Crimson Tide, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech, UT Arlington, Davidson, Arizona State all the way out here from the Valley of the Sun, Florida College, Charleston Southern, who I used to be the voice of Charleston Southern Athletics, and Chattanooga. 25 total schools, 270 players. We're down to the Final Four, and Florida's trying to make it the Final Three. Lickety split as they are out to a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, they're ready to seal the deal here, I think.
Finally, the first point for Django and Adele. Again, the Carolina Tar Heels, probably the most seasoned team in terms of super regional and national competition, national champions in 2023. They've got most of the lineup back. Sarah Carpenter is still here, as are Matthew Nesbitt, Ian Hutter. One newcomer for North Carolina.
Yeah, it certainly helps to have some seasoned players.
Jana Shah is that newcomer, placing Ilgner. You can just kind of see the dejection a little bit in the body language for Florida 2 right now. That was kind of lazy footwork there from Dorian.
Yeah, hopefully they can turn it around, whether that's taking a timeout, but they definitely look a little confused about what they need to do here.
And I think that dejection stems from the loss in men's doubles. I think that's where they felt they needed to make their stand. Dorian attacked middle to the forehand of Bauer, and that's so often what will happen.
Yeah, she turned and walked away from that one.
Vicious angle from Django.
Yeah, I expect to see a little bit more offensive plays here so that they can hang in this match.
And the service error from Dorian and a knowing look as that ball sailed long and will lead to the end change. 11-4 for Florida 1, as it will be a Gators team in the finals. And for all the world right now, it looks like it's going to be representatives from Florida 1. Change of ends. Back in a couple seconds to Pickle and Social. (11-4). Now 5-11. Florida 2 trying to put something together. You notice we're not taking timeouts on the end change, and that's because, as Norm Klinkscales, our referee, told me, the teams do have the right to a minute timeout on the changeover. And used to see them take it all the time, kind of gather, regroup, all those things, and he said it hasn't been happening this weekend. So
yeah, it's interesting. If I was down, I would definitely want that time. But certainly if you're in a big lead, I would want to just keep rolling with it.
And it's a big lead for Florida 1 right now, 13-5. Rally scoring, it's just so hard up until the score freeze to mount a comeback, because every mistake that you make is a point the other way.
Yeah, I can say from playing this format, it's a lot more pressure filled each point.
Oh, Bauer tried to get tricky there and flipped the backhand into the forehand attack. He nearly pulled it off. Tell you what, Jake Bauer has really come on like a house of fire tail end of that quarterfinal matchup, and in the semifinal matchup, Rachel, he's playing very elevated pickleball.
Yeah, he really turned it on in that last match, and just seen him really seem more confident with his shots here in this match. Ooh.
$7:15 is our score. Now 8:15. I got distracted, Rach. They're broadcasting our broadcast up on the wall. That's
on the wall.
cool.
That is so cool.
Giant-sized Rachel Roney up there. And like I said, Pickle and Social continues to dazzle. I didn't know they had that feature. They've got a giant video screen outside.
Yeah, the one outside is certainly impressive, but this is pretty cool to have it projected on the wall here.
It's making me want to go back to our facility and tell my business partners we got to spend some more money.
We got to find a wall.
We need a giant projection. $10:15. Said it was difficult to come back. I didn't say it was impossible. 11:15. And starting to maybe see some loose shots from Florida 1 here. I think sometimes you have that kind of air of inevitability to a game. And it started when Bauer tried, I don't want to call it a trick shot, because a lot of people hit that shot now, but certainly not the easiest shot to execute. Kind of call that a 9-1 shot, you know?
Yeah,
Got the
exactly.
big lead, feeling it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the danger of it. You kind of get a little loose, and some straight points, and then all of a sudden they're back in it.
But as we saw in both women's doubles and men's doubles, Florida won very smart about their timeout usage. Both occasions gave up a big run, took a timeout, steadied themselves, and prevailed.
Wow.
Oh!
What a that was awesome.
Oh, man, Bauer can't believe it. He got exactly what he wanted and just saw the incredible effort.
He has some jets, I'll say that. He's very quick.
12-15. But see, that's what I'm saying. You're on a big run right there. In traditional scoring, that just gives the serve back. No damage done, but now 16-12. Nasty cross from Dorian and shouting, "Let's go."
Love
right
that
as that
forehand
ball
roll.
skipped for the winner.
That's one of my favorite shots for sure.
I love, even with a deficit and playing against friendly foes, Dorian, big smile on her face right now. You got to love this if you're a college player. This scene here, pretty amazing.
Yeah, we got quite the crowd gathered around now. More coming in.
We've still got another semifinal and a championship to come. Look at the recognition right there, Rage, from Chesong. He said, I'm going to pull it out wide, and I know that doing that means I need to scamper my backside over here and cover the line.
Yeah, he's confident with his movements for sure, and just crushed coming back in there.
And that's recognition right there between Dorian and Chesong. A lot of players who haven't played together would have panicked, and Dorian would have shuffled left. And she knew that Chesong was going to get back. Yeah,
they seem very comfortable on the court. Good partner chemistry there. And that's extremely important in the mixed game.
15-16.
Two of those there looked
Bauer
like they were going to sail
out twice, but Sunston reacted too quickly. 16 all. And Django really starting to play pro-style mixed doubles. He's playing 80-85% of the court right now.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest change-up I've seen is he's just taking over more of the court, being a lot more assertive.
It's almost like a non-verbal cue. Like he just looked at Adele Dorian and said, "It's Django time."
I know. I love that name. I feel like I want to call him Django the Jet because he's so fast on the court.
Yeah, no, and he's such a great guy, too. He's actually played in a few tournaments that I've produced. First played in the Body Armor 804 Open up in Richmond. He's got family in the Virginia area, so we see him quite a bit, gotten to know him a little bit.
Yeah, really fun player to watch.
Oh, what a get. Now, they may go down, but they're not going to go down without a show here.
Absolutely.
Florida 2. Florida 1 now, trying to right the ship here. Again, it was Florida 2 that was favored by DUPR, you'll recall, in this matchup, 56-44, percentage-wise. Django looking back at the court as if to say that didn't bounce where I thought it was going to. Nonetheless, it's 18 all. Look out.
Easy put away there.
Those are my favorite. Along with Smiling. And a timeout taken by Django Chesong and Adele Dorian, now trailing 19-18. This has been the theme of this entire match. Florida 2 has made a charge. Florida 1 has turned that back. They have the 2 games to none lead. The 19-18 lead, a couple points away from playing for a super regional title. (19-18) off the serve of Jake Bauer.
Close call there. And it was out.
Jake Bauer appealing that call from Django Chasong. Had a pretty good look at it, as did our referee Norm Clinkscales. Call stands, but now it is match point for Florida 1, 20-19. But turned back by Florida 2, 20-all. Chasong attacking, but it's Dorian with the put away. Game point to stay alive for Florida 2.
Yeah, you could see Jake disappointed in that shot there.
Painting lines. Sunston. 21-21. That one sailed long. Great read by both Chasong and Dorian. I think it was actually going to be Django that would have hit it. 22-21. There. Oh, what a point.
Incredible point there.
So many excellent shots. Dorian had some just beautiful resets in that mix, but too much Bauer and Sunston. 22-22. And there's the negative side of Django playing so much of the court.
Yeah, little confusion there. They've been doing a really good job so far, but it's a tough moment to have that happen.
And there it is. Florida 1 prevails in a sweep. But I said if they go down, it won't be without a show. And Florida 2 certainly put one on in mixed doubles 1. But it's the Gators of the University of Florida. I suppose that was inevitable. But it is the Gators of Florida 1. They will advance to take on the winner of North Carolina and the University of North Florida Ospreys, making their first appearance in the semifinals. That second semifinal is coming up shortly from Pickle and Social here in Buford, Georgia. Rachel and I will be right back along with our performance productions team. Won't miss a moment of the action along with the championship match a little later this afternoon. Man, I got no pull around here. They started without us, Rich.
We can't do it without you.
I like it, though. Kind of get back on schedule here at the Georgia Super Regional. And we've got the matchup of North Florida, the Ospreys, and North Carolina. Jayla Shaw just rifled that one a bit wide. She's the only newcomer for North Carolina. Sarah Carpenter, her partner, preparing to return serve. Carpenter, well known, actually works for DUPR and a big part of the Collegiate Pickleball Tour. The 4-2 lead early for the Ospreys.
Carolina, the heavy favorite to win this one, just based on the percentages we see here. Pretty stacked on the DUPRs for Carolina.
Yeah, 89%, in fact. DUPR gives Carolina the odds to win this women's doubles matchup. Talking with Josh Clarfield, who we'll see in men's doubles for the Ospreys a little bit just ahead of this second semifinal. He said, yeah, we've been here before. They actually made the semifinals of the Florida Super Regional a couple of years ago. They've been a club since the beginning, as he said, but nonetheless, this was an incredible run. The 15 seed coming in with the Ospreys.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Meeting UNF for the first time on our live stream. Just winning that dink battle with Shaw. That is Mackenzie Brown, 24-year-old from St. Augustine, Florida.
With Carpenter being the seasoned player here, I'm curious if Shaw's going to see more of the balls here in this matchup.
It's interesting. I've seen Sarah play both left, right, in women's and mixed. She definitely would prefer the left side. Issue potentially with the ball here. That is Emily Lara, the taller of the two Ospreys. 22-year-old from Miami, Florida, and actually I think the ball struck her finger potentially.
Yeah, I think she was grabbing a Band-Aid.
Sarah Carpenter using an opportunity to coach up Jayla Shaw. Went over to talk to Jayla prior to the match here and said, how do you pronounce your last name? They gave us a phonetic report and she put J La. She's like, oh, my bad. I didn't do the last name. A lot of fun. You see Ian Hutter and Matthew Nesbitt out there conferring as well. A lot of smiles for the Tar Heels. Winner of this match is going to take on Florida Gators, top team for Florida. This is the lowest seed, 15 seed ever to make a quarterfinal or a semifinal. I mentioned that North Florida did make the semifinals a couple years ago, but not as this low of a seed. Chatting with Jacob Smith, the director of DUPR Collegiate and this Collegiate Pickleball Tour, and we were just surmising about the parity that we see now in collegiate pickleball, and with, again, participation comes more talent, more parity, rising tide, all boats and all those things, and that is indeed what's happening right now for Emily Lara. You can see she had a spots of blood from where her finger, I believe, got cut.
Yeah, when the ball hits your hand just right.
Yeah, now it's actually on her left thumb. I just saw it when she walked by. And that's a good teammate right there. Mackenzie is going to help Emily put that Band-Aid in place. Again, I'm John Laser. She's Rachel Roney. Cam Meeks is our executive producer. Privileged to be able to live stream this Georgia Super Regional for you. About set to resume, and it is North Florida that has the early advantage, though, as you see the percentages there favoring Carpenter and Shaw. A combined 4.804 DUPR. Now 8-4. Shaw. Nice counter there as Lara tried the alley. I like this aggressiveness from Shaw. 7-8, here comes Carolina.
Carpenter jumped
and the speed
out of the way.
Carpenter. Shaw, kind of that flat drive, not a lot of top spin. Carpenter can't believe it.
That's
She's
a rare miss there.
Emotive with her expression. Sarah usually will make us chuckle a couple of times when she's on court.
Again, same spot.
Excellent setup for herself from Jayla Shaw. You were previously asking what an osprey was. You were. It is, in fact, a sea hawk, river hawk, or fish hawk. It is a bird of prey. Fish is generally that prey.
It looks fierce. I'll say that.
10-10. Friendly tape, and the Tar Heels turn what was an early deficit into a slight lead at the change of ends. Right back to the Georgia Super Regional and the Collegiate Pickleball Tour. All. Notice something, Rachel, you mentioned to me during the end change there. The Ospreys kind of standing a little bit behind the line. When you get up to the kitchen.
Yeah, Carolina's just more offensive at the line because they're really staying close to that. Even just a little step away can really put you in a defensive position. Shaw's got all those middle balls, easy putaways.
It's fun to watch Carpenter actively encouraging and coaching Shaw, who's definitely newer to the game, you can tell, than Sarah. Now some points coming a little easier for Carolina as they've opened the 14-11 lead. That's the second time Carpenter has found that earning.
Yep. Carpenter played volleyball. I think we're seeing some of that come out in her style.
16-11, and Carpenter really taking over to the point that the Ospreys want a timeout. North Florida, incredible run to the semifinals. North Carolina, though, going to make it a short stay, heavily favored to advance back to the title match. UNC was down 7-4 in women's doubles here in this second semifinal. Since then, gone on a big run to lead 16-11.
Wow.
What a get by Shaw there. That one trickled over the tape.
Shaw really saved that point for them, and Carpenter put it away.
Carpenter pushing Shaw out of the way. I think they bumped knees. Sarah was in position to get to that ball, but I think didn't realize how much time she had, maybe. Team 17, North Florida trying to hang in there. I think Emily Lara yelling out to Mackenzie there altered the shot, and I think she was also wrong. I think that ball was going to fall in.
I don't think it had enough pace, and then, yeah, unfortunately that made her hesitate to hit the shot. The way
Jayla Shaw plays in this partnership with Sarah, she's definitely letting Carpenter on the left be the alpha, but she certainly has the firepower to finish points when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, she can step up and use that power game too.
Shaw was cat on a hot tin roof there trying to figure out where that was going and if it was coming over. It did not, and it's game point for Carolina. Score freeze in place here. North Florida trying to chip into this lead here. Another opportunity to close out women's doubles for North Carolina. A bit of a flimsy drop from Carpenter. And a couple easy ones for North Florida, and again you see the score freeze come into play quite a bit.
It's hard to close out a match, but definitely don't want to let them back in at this point. Another miss.
That was wide from Carpenter, kind of going for a little bit too much here. And a timeout taken by North Carolina.
I think that was a good call there.
And I think it came from the bench from Ian Hutter and Matt Nesbitt. Said, let's come over, let's chill out a little bit. We had this one well in hand. Carolina certainly still in an opportune position here. winner to advance to face the Florida Gators, as Florida's 1 team beat Florida's 2 team 3-0 in our first semifinal. So it will be Jake Bauer, Christian Franke on the men's side for Florida 1. They will be joined, of course, by Martina Sunston and Zoe Routson. Saw the exuberance after that victory for Florida 1. 17-20.
Carpenter slowing down a little bit now, it looks like. Just taking care of business.
Nara swinging away to the point's conclusion, and Carolina again on their 3rd game point can't seal it. Now this is when you start thinking to yourself, if you're Carolina, wicked shot from Jayla Shaw. Game point number 4. Found the corner and the inside-out forehand. Jayla Shaw finally takes matters into her own hands. That was a breathtaking shot there, Rich.
Yeah, great finish. And really a good fight by North Florida. I'm impressed with their run and then what they're doing here today.
Yeah, a lot of credit to North Florida's women. They hang in there and come all the way back, but fall 21-18. Ian Hutter, Matthew Nesbitt on court now. They'll take on Miles Call for North Florida, along with his men's partner, Josh Klarfeld. So Klarfeld and Call against Nesbitt and Hutter. Carolina looking to take a commanding 2-0 lead in our 2nd semifinal. John Laser, Ray Cheroni, back with you from Pickle and Social here in Buford, Georgia, just a little bit north of Atlanta. This is the Georgia Super Regional of the Collegiate Pickleball Tour. Semifinal number 2, North Carolina and North Florida. The Ospreys making a run as the number 15 seed all the way to the semifinals. They beat Florida's number 3 team in their quarterfinal this morning. And now trying to even up this semifinal after North Carolina stands up, holds on, and takes women's doubles by the score of 21-18. You look at the players in this matchup, Matthew Nesbitt, Ian Hutter, really need no introduction to our live stream. We've seen them quite a few times. Pedigreed players, 5.276 combined DUPR. 90% chance given to win over Miles Call and Josh Klarfeld. 4.713 combined DUPR. As you look at Call and Klarfeld warming up there on your screen, back to you near side of the court, that is Miles Call. On top of your picture, that is Klarfeld. Pickle and Social is where we are. Buford, Georgia. I'm John Laser. She's Rachel Roney. Cam Meeks is guiding Performance Productions. Winner to face the Florida Gators. #1 team prevailing over the Florida Gators 2 team here today in our first semifinal. That still to come as part of our live cast. Thanks for joining us on our DUPR YouTube channel. Excellent setup here for both our live cast and also spectators. The baseline filled with folks. Still some competition happening throughout the facility in the challenger bracket of this Georgia Super Regional. So a large collection of folks the near side of the court as well. Pickleball in general, but collegiate pickleball certainly mimicking it. Rachel, this continues to pick up steam.
Oh yeah, and people are continuing to roll in here. I think we're gonna have a big crowd here in a little bit.
And into a Sunday afternoon here from Pickle and Social. It'll be Carolina to serve first. That is Matthew Nesbitt, who will do the honors. Nesbitt in the gray hat, his partner Ian Hutter in the black shorts. Hutter will play the left. Really what makes Nesbitt and Hutter so strong as a tandem, Nesbitt is the lefty. And basically have two forehands in the middle at all times.
Their DUPRs are almost exactly the same. Ian's slightly higher.
See the attack come in on Klarfeld there from Matthew Nesbitt. What a shot by Ian Hutter.
That was incredible. I think we're going to see some fireworks in this one today, John.
Called out by Matthew Nesbitt. So 4-0 for Carolina. Hutter tried to pull off another sensational ATP. North Carolina, of course, the Collegiate National Champion in 2023. That was a team that, of course, featured Colin Schick.
Right.
Been Hutter and Nesbitt carrying on that legacy and doing quite a good job of it. Deep run in nationals back in the fall. Six-1. Looks like a difficult shot, but for a player of Hutter's caliber, that one's kind of on a tee for him.
Yeah, some that you think are winners are not against this team.
The Ospreys with a response on that point. Just about to say, I think you can tell that Hutter and Nesbitt are playing with a lot of confidence. They're really the aggressor most of these points.
Yeah, you can feel their energy's a bit higher than North Florida right now. Hopefully they can get some energy going, a little bit of hype.
I think Josh Klarfeld was expecting that to come with some pace from Nesbitt.
It did go over.
Went over, but Nesbitt rightfully was pointing to his chest and saying it came off of there. There's a point of confusion sometimes. Nesbitt showing off the verticality there.
Yeah, such quickness with the hands there on some of these hand battles.
Takes it to a 10-4 lead. Change ends with Carolina firmly in control. They have women's doubles in their pocket, trying to make it a 2-0 lead in this second semifinal. Winner on to face the University of Florida Gators in our Georgia Super Regional. North Florida Ospreys, lowest seed to ever advance to a quarterfinal or a semifinal. Victorious this morning over Florida. That one came off at an odd angle. I think it caught a piece of the hand of Klarfeld. Let's meet the Ospreys. Josh Klarfeld, 21 years of age, from Jacksonville. Senior and sport management major. A midpoint reset right there by Ian Hutter, and he's asking Nesbitt, hey, how'd I do that?
Yeah, I like his energy on the court.
Yeah,
he seems really relaxed.
Easy guy to root for, as is Nesbitt. Seen them in some high tension moments and really always maintain that cool. Definitely have a great on-court chemistry. Miles' call, couldn't believe, I think he got distracted by his partner there as he was trying to lift that drop. Call, unlike Klarfeld, came across the country to go to North Florida. He's from Carlsbad, California, sophomore. Both Klarfeld and Call played competitive soccer growing up. Klarfeld added basketball to that athletic resume. Good read by Nesbitt. Coming over to see us at the broadcast table.
Big wind up there. Doesn't always pan out on the smaller court here.
Hutter apologizing. Made the wrong call on the Ernie, but
It worked out.
Call bailed him out. Call smiling. Great sportsmanship in this match. And call. Trying to find Hutter over there and make him pay for that.
Yeah.
This time to Ernie again.
I saw that the other day. That's a new one for me. It's strategically.
Miles still smiling. Point later, and that one just kind of wrenched down to the ground by the tallest player in this matchup. You love to see that. You make an improbable run to a round. You enjoy the experience.
Absolutely.
For some of these top teams like Carolina, there's just the expectation that you're going to be there at this point. Pool play sometimes just becomes a precursor to that quarterfinal round. Kind of dragged that backhand attempt, did Nesbitt. Nesbitt attacking middle against the lefty and paying the price. Florida trying to hang in there like they did in women's doubles here in men's doubles.
Yeah, we'll see if some timeouts get used here soon.
Nearly curled back in, but didn't quite make it. Well, that's what's so much fun about nationals too. Again, contested back in November in Dallas. You see teams that sometimes dominate, kind of, I don't want to say coast, but advance through the super regionals, and then they get matched up from teams that did likewise at other super regionals, like a Utah Tech or a Utah Valley, and really get put to the test. That championship match between University of Virginia not competing here this weekend. We'll see them at a later super regional. Virginia and Utah Tech was epic a few months ago. Nesbitt, self-defense mode.
The match point here.
Nesbitt and Hutter will try to end things more quickly than the women were able to, and will do so as Hutter looks back and says, thanks for taking care of that, my friend, as Nesbitt did, and a lot of smiles between all the competitors after that game goes to North Carolina. 2-0 for the Tar Heels. They'll look to take first mix to advance to the championship round, where they would face the Florida Gators.
Yeah, you go first. Okay. Wait, who's going out? Can I get your names on here?
North Carolina, heavily predicted favorite coming into this overall match and in each women's doubles and men's doubles, and that will continue to be the case for our first mixed doubles match, as UNC will send out Sarah Carpenter and Ian Hutter. You see a 93% chance given by DUPR to win against Emily Lara and Josh Klarfeld. So UNF trying to force the second mixed game, but a tall hill to climb rage to get there.
Yeah, they put a stacked Sarah Carpenter and Ian Hutter in this first one, and you know they're seasoned and they've been here many times, so.
Yeah, you can see just an air of confidence in North Carolina. Saw it in both women's doubles and men's doubles. Not seen a dream breaker thus far today.
Not yet. Yeah, I think Carolina's looking to close this one out so they can get ready for a final.
Saw some great exchanges between Hutter and Klarfeld in the men's doubles match. Hutter gets the best of the first exchange here in mixed. Klarfeld tried to come open hand cross court, just skipped it wide. Couple of missed thirds for Carolina. That was even at 2.
Couple misses there. North Florida's. It's good that they're hanging in kind of at the beginning here to keep it close.
We really haven't seen many dink exchanges thus far in this match, and it's one because Carolina's got their foot on the accelerator. They're really attacking rather than trying to slow things down, but also you'll see a lot of drives, a lot of pace from North Florida as well. It's the future of pickleball, as you'll hear from so many.
Absolutely, yeah. As it's evolving, we see less and less of the longer dink battles, and people are pulling the trigger a lot faster.
Different ways to attack, more attackable balls. You know, even shots that used to be considered safe shots like dinks and drops are now aggressive shots with the Tui dinks and the hybrid drive, hybrid drop.
Right in the chest.
Klarfeld said, I owed you that one. Oh, great ATP defense by Josh.
Yeah. Carpenter a little late towards center there to cover that one. Almost rolled.
Hutter was leaning. Klarfeld couldn't believe that caught the tape. 7-6 for Carolina. JT Klarfeld knew he was just kind of a sitting duck there as Hutter made the aggressive movement. Klarfeld was trying to protect Lara, who wasn't quite to the line, but didn't quite have the reach.
Yeah, with Joshua being a lefty, this is interesting because we have the setup with the two females head-to-head and our males head-to-head. It changes the strategy a bit.
Thus far, it has all been in the favor of North Carolina. 11-6 as we change ends. Carolina looking for a sweep and a matchup with Florida in the championship of our Georgia Super Regional. Commanding lead in terms of games in this second semifinal, 2-0 for North Carolina. And now, as was expected, an early lead for the Tar Heels. What can North Florida do, Rachel, to try to play their way into this game? They're kind of outgunned, it seems.
Yeah, it's tough because I think there's such a discrepancy in the matchup of the Dupers here. But they are doing a good job of hanging in there and being offensive at the line, and I think they can't backpedal at this point.
Starting to see a little frustration from Klarfeld. Carpenter trying to shriek no.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get it all the way out, but it was enough for Ian to stop the swing.
Yeah, I was hoping Joshua was going to pull that one behind Ian, but he went back middle.
The tape and still found the corner. (14-7). Miscommunication there between Hutter and Carpenter. He came charging in almost as if it was a shake and bake, and then
yeah.
Sarah hit a higher drop.
Good adjustment there by Carpenter. Thought she was going to tag that one, but she left it.
A couple just exquisite shots in that exchange from Hutter. (17-7). And I'm really noticing from Ian today is the footwork. He is kind of
excellent
dancing
footwork
out there.
Yeah. And you can tell he trusts his speed because he's leaving a lot of the side open to cover more of that middle ground there.
Kind of got North Florida guessing where he's going to go on some of these attacks.
Yeah, he does a good job of holding the shot. And he took a little pace off there and used more of a roll, and I really like that for getting more angles.
Yeah, you're right. You can see where he's stationing himself. He's not worried about getting beat cross
No.
by Emily Lara.
That's where I would probably try to be putting the ball at this point, though.
Match point for North Carolina. The steamroll into the championship. It'll be the Tar Heels and the Gators for the Georgia Super Regional title. Tremendous run by the North Florida Ospreys all the way to the semifinals as the 15 seed. Congratulations on a fantastic weekend for North Florida. They'll go home with some prize money and a bid to nationals. But it'll be the Tar Heels against Florida #1. Top 2 seeds will battle it out. We'll have it for you as part of our Performance Productions live cast, Pickle and Social.
try to start at 2 o'clock, so a little less than 9 minutes from now. So pace yourself accordingly. We'll do our coin toss here.
Welcome back to Pickle and Social in Buford, Georgia, host site of the Georgia Super Regional Collegiate Pickleball Tour Now, a joint production of DUPR, MLP, and PPA, along with 6.0, and I wanted it pointed out, this is an all 6.0 final between North Carolina and Florida. Tar Heels and Gators. I'm John Laser, broadcast partner and great friend Rachel Roney at my side, as is Cam Meeks, the executive producer of Performance Productions. It's been an awesome weekend here at Pickle and Social, but we are down to 2, and let's reintroduce you to the competitors in this matchup. For Florida, Florida's 1 team, they beat Florida's 2 team, and I think that goes back and forth sometimes. In the first semifinal, a little bit earlier this morning, the women's team will consist of Zoe Routson and Martina Sunston. One clarification from earlier, Zoe wanted us to point out she does not actually have a tennis background. I just assumed that, Rachel, because she has such excellent tennis-style strokes, particularly on the backhand, but she was actually a very competitive volleyball player for 13 or so years, and a tremendous pickleball player. First competition just last year. So Routson and Sunston on the women's side, Jake Bauer and Christian Franke on the men's side for the Florida Gators. UNC just saw them. They were victorious in 3 games, as was Florida in the first semifinal. Women's tandem, Jana Shaw, the newcomer, Sarah Carpenter, the veteran for this North Carolina team, 28 years of age, from Stillwater, Oklahoma. She's working on her PhD, and she's already working, in fact, for DUPR as the lead data scientist at DUPR. She's also one of our favorite people. Stopped by the broadcast table to say hello. We'll actually see her next week at our facility. She's playing a tournament called Winter in Paradise at the Open Division level. On the men's side, Ian Hutter, Matthew Nesbitt just saw their firepower as they were able to defeat the North Florida Osprey. We'll see what DUPR thinks in terms of the percentages, but before we do, Rachel, who do you like in this matchup?
I'm kind of leaning towards Carolina on this one. I think it'll be interesting to see the percentages. Chatted with Carpenter as she came over to the table, and although they played some of these players individually, they have not seen them as much as a team. So I think it'll make it interesting in terms of the strategy today.
Yeah, and there you do see those DUPR predictive percentages. It does, like Rachel, like North Carolina in women's doubles, 84% in fact, and that's due to the 4.804 combined DUPR for Carpenter and Shaw. Meanwhile, for Sunston and Routson, 4.389. So women's doubles to get us started here. Championship match of the Georgia Super Regional. Both of our referees will contribute to our championship match, but the lead referee is Tony Jaden. Tony is on the left side of the court as you see it on your screen. Oh, what a shot to get us started by Sunston.
Yeah, great backhand roll there.
Norm Clinkscales is that other referee on the right side of your picture. That was in. Carpenter went to get it. Carpenter's smiling shot. Did what she could to try to hold the Tar Heels in that point. Oh, Routson with the Ernie.
Well-timed Ernie there. She tried it a point or two ago and pulled that one off.
Oh, and actually it was a foot fault, unfortunately,
oh,
on Routson.
Bummer.
So 2-1 for Florida. That one was up there for too long. Shaw went to get it a little too quickly.
Yeah, she had the opportunity there to put that one away.
Routson nearly able to reset that. Routson was joking, I think, in her player bio that she's a certified resetter.
I liked that in the notes.
Florida maintains the early edge. 4-2 is your score at the moment. How did that not go over? Wonders Sarah Carpenter. Florida playing some outstanding pickleball thus far. Rach, what's been the key?
For this match? Yeah, I think right now Florida's kind of showing all the stops, trying some Ernies, mixing it up a lot, and keeping Carolina on their toes, which is really what they need to do to stay in this one.
And I think although the DUPR predictive analysis had North Carolina such a heavy favorite, with the relative newcomer Jana Shaw, I feel like Florida would probably tell you they feel they need to win women's doubles to win this overall match.
Yeah, I agree. The men's team is so strong. I think this is where they can make some moves if they can pull this one off.
Shots like that will help. Tape help to an 8-3 lead for Florida. Carpenter able to find the middle, though.
What are your thoughts, John, on how Florida can pull this one off?
Yeah, I think they have to keep coming. I don't think they can allow Carpenter to be the most aggressive player. But thus far, I like what they've done. They've played with a lot of poise. That's the Gators. Use pace when it's there, slowed it down when it's not. Surprised Carpenter didn't get that back. I think she thought it was going to be a better roll from Routson than what she got.
Yeah, not quite enough on that reset.
10-5, Florida trying to force the change of ends.
Wow.
Sitting on that was Sarah Carpenter. Was an example of Sunston, I think, just not sure where she wanted to go. She went from an attacking position to...
Yeah, she changed her mind, I think, mid-play there.
And a couple of loose shots from Martina Sunston, and Carolina pulling back into it.
Oh. Nice.
That was the ceiling point in women's doubles in the semifinals, that open hand forehand from Shaw. Trying to double it up and can't, and it will.
I like the energy, though.
With the lead at the change of ends. Florida an 11-9 lead, but Carolina pulled back into it. Women's doubles kickstarts on championship match. 11-10. A score adjustment there during the end change. So now 12-10. Saw the two officials get together and confer on that. And here comes High on the backhand flick. Well, actually, that was error. So the score we had originally was correct. It was called incorrectly, a couple of points, but no harm, no foul there. Score is correct now at 13-10. Routson getting the best in that hands battle. Florida went on the big run to start the game. Carolina kind of tilted things in their favor briefly. And we saw Florida's one team do this a number of times in the semifinal. Go on the first run and the last run. And it was a winning formula. That was a tight to the body shot from Jaina Shah. Hadn't seen that one in the arsenal thus far.
That was a great shot. She kind of has it all. She's got the soft part of the game, and then she's comfortable attacking as well.
Yeah. We jinxed her. Sunston can't believe that miss. That one, Shah anticipated on the roll. The top spinner was going to pop up on the bounce, and it didn't. You can see her expressing that. Now we get down to it. Routson would more than love to see that ball again, particularly at that juncture of the game. -14, and again Florida after that slight bobble and quickly earns the next point.
17-14.
Carpenter keeping her composure here despite the deficit. They're projecting the match, our live cast of it, on a giant wall off to the side of the court. And it's slightly delayed, about a point, just because it's a screen. And I've been noticing the Gators, after each point, are looking up there to see what happened, good or bad.
Carolina looking to level this match out next.
17 all. Saw consternation on the face of Zoe Routson. Excellent patience from Routson there. She had a couple that were mildly attackable.
Yeah, Florida did a good job of just keeping the pressure on.
Sunston down the alley to 19-17. That's going to sail long on Shaw. Carolina heavily favored in this women's doubles matchup, with Florida a point away from winning it.
This will be a huge momentum game for Florida going into the next round.
And there it is. The Gators pull the upset in women's doubles. Felt like they had to have it, and they have it. 1-0 for the Gators in the championship of the Georgia Super Regional. Florida Gators pull the upset in women's doubles, hold a 1-0 lead in our championship match of the Georgia Super Regional Collegiate Pickleball Tour from Pickle and Social. John Laser, Rachel Roney back with you. You look at the DUPR predictive analysis in men's doubles, much closer than it was in women's doubles, 52% favoring Nesbitt and Hutter of North Carolina, but you see the combined DUPR is so very close between Frankie and Bauer. Nesbitt and Hutter 5-2-7-6 to 5-2-6-0. That's really razor thin, Rachel. Saw both these two teams. I think that I kind of favor North Carolina, but with that said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Frankie and Jake Bauer are able to win this match.
Yeah, based on that women's matchup, I'm not sure now. But it's going to be a good one, no doubt.
I think it's going to be very interesting how Carolina approaches this game. You just kind of saw them just put the foot down aggressively against North Florida. Start with an attack on Bauer, and Hunter getting himself going. These teams don't know each other all that well. I was talking to Sarah Carpenter about it. They did play each other in the quarterfinals of the 2023 Nationals. North Carolina won that match, and that was the team led by Colin Schick. get some fireworks in this one. This is 4 pedigreed players right here. Frankie just laughing into himself. For Carolina. Saw Frankie was able to catch Hutter a little off guard with how wide he went on that dink, but talked about it earlier. Hutter with the footwork was able to save the point.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to take as much of that middle, I don't think, in this one because they're going to go behind him.
Two, 3, Florida trailing with the serve. Hutter had Ernie'd and was kind of stuck over there and just showed his paddle as a visual deterrent. Not sure if that was the prompted the miss. We'll never know how Nesbitt won that point.
Yeah, that made me nervous when he came that far over, that's for sure.
Five, 2. Can't believe he overswung on that. That was a delightful point there, and really seeing the other side of this Tar Heels tandem in this match, Rachel, the ability to defend. We saw a ton of offense in the semis.
Yeah, they're having to use both sides of that coin on this one. Frankie really working that backhand side of Hutter there.
Back-to-back points, able to short on the backhand from Hutter. It's a dangerous game to play, though, when you pull Ian wide, because we've seen many times the ability for the ATP. Nesbitt finished it off, but Hutter was the one who set it up, pulling Frankie out wide. Yeah, you pointed that out earlier, Rachel. Hutter trying to come aggressively to the middle and got caught.
Yep.
Serve return comes to Bauer on that occasion.
That's the one you mentioned, John, but couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, that was a very difficult ATP attempt. He was all the way almost into the fans there. 7-8. up the paddle on Nesbitt. Smile from Christian Frankie. Nesbitt, a little message behind that block back to Christian Frankie. And that time he was able to slither out for the ATP was Ian Hutter. 10-8. As will change ends. So Florida had pulled even, but 3 in succession for the Tar Heels. Florida, however, took women's doubles, trying to double it up in men's. Tar Heels trying to pull even. This is the championship match of the Georgia Super Regional. (11-8) the lead for Carolina. Nesbitt should have let Hutter have that ball. Hutter telling him that.
Oh, I got it.
Ball is right behind our broadcast partner, Rachel Roney, using the Vulcan ball here at the Georgia Super Regional, new ball of the Collegiate Pickleball Tour. Partnership now with PPA, MLP, and DUPR. Couple for Florida. Said the score is 12-11, but it's actually 10-11. I saw a brief moment of confusion for Bauer before he served. Hutter couldn't find it. Attempted ATP, and now they'll come over and clarify the score. Again, the score is right, I'm sure, on the sheet. Our head referee, Tony Jaden, he just misspoke there. He said 12-11. It was 10-11. Now it is 11-all. That is the correct score. Yep, Tony Jaden just said I called the wrong score. So. Gotta love that from Jake Bauer. There's been a lot of Hutter and Frankie in this matchup, but Bauer taking advantage and asserting himself.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of pulling Carolina out and just really setting up that play.
And sails long on Nesbitt, and it's 5 points in a row for the Florida Gators. Same pattern, and Hutter just couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, great patience there. You can sense Florida's energy on this one. The crowd's really starting to get into this.
Haven't seen Frankie miss one of those in quite some time. Breaks that run of 6 points in a row.
Oh.
Bauer knew it. Frankie couldn't pull his hand back. 13-14. I love the back and forth between Hutter and Nesbitt on the court. Kind of where they do things, look at each other and say, hey, why not? Oh, Hutter may see that one in his sleep tonight.
Yeah.
15-13. That sails long on Nesbitt. It's already been a fantastic weekend for Florida pickleball. 2 semifinal teams, 3 quarterfinal teams. Trying to cap it off with a title. And things are rolling their way right now.
Yeah. They seem to have kind of figured out a good strategy for this Carolina team, and they're just running with it.
Ian Hutter was kind of taken aback by the drive there from Jake Bauer. 18-13. Now 19-13. I mentioned earlier, as North Carolina takes a timeout, Rachel, that there's always an air of confidence around this tandem. They're good. They know they're good. Ian Hutter, Matt Nesbitt, they're not cocky. I'm not saying that at all. They're very sportsmanlike, but you can just kind of see it right now in their faces. They're doubting them right now.
Yeah, I think they're trying to figure out how to kind of even this match out. I think Frankie's doing a fantastic job of using that two-handed backhand dink and just really pushing Hutter.
Yeah, I think you look at the combination of Frankie and Bauer, it's more conventional, right? This has been a left side matchup in this match between Frankie and Hutter. But Nesbitt is really a left side player playing the right because he's left-handed. Meanwhile, Bauer's just kind of been that rock over there on the right side.
Absolutely.
Sorely needed for Carolina to 14-19.
Yeah, we saw there Hutter kind of changed up the pattern instead of going right back to Frankie's backhand there.
What a spot and what a shot by Bauer. Game point. And again, you can see the dejection in the body language of the Tar Heels. That kind of a fitting end to that game. That backhand to backhand pattern went Christian Frankie's way the vast majority of that game, and it does so on game point. Florida Gators have a 2-0 lead on North Carolina. Only path to victory for the Tar Heels would be through a dream breaker. They'll have to take both mixed games to get there. First, they got to force a second. Mixed game 1 on deck. Florida a game away from a regional championship. 2 games to none lead for the Florida Gators, hunting the Georgia Super Regional Championship Collegiate Pickleball Tour. North Carolina not in this spot a lot. Backs against the wall. They need to win both mixed games and then a potential dream breaker. And they've sent out what is their top tandem in mixed doubles of Hutter and Carpenter, and that's due to the pedigree of Carpenter, who carries the DUPR above 5. What a intricate little shot there from Sunston.
Yeah, that was smart. Like we said in the last mixed match, Hutter's really taking control of that middle and leaving a bit of the line open.
Yeah, Carolina usually does this with Hutter and Carpenter playing mixed first. We saw him do it in the semifinal to put North Florida away. Right now, I think Ian Hutter is a little bit down on himself after men's doubles.
Yeah, that's where you got to kind of let that one go and go into the next one fresh.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. North Carolina did get to select, and I know you want to continue, and that's why you put your top team out, but it's always interesting thinking about the strategy mentally, physically. Florida responded to the lineups. Would have been interesting to see what Florida would have done had they come out with Nesbitt and Shaw instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suppose we can ask after.
Yeah. Let's get him on the mic.
Great read by Carpenter. Hutter saw it too. Oh, what a shot by Carpenter. Tennis or pickleball? You beat somebody line, it just feels.
It does feel really nice. She was smiling after that one. I would be too.
Smile became a growl very quickly there for Sarah Carpenter. DUPR favored North Carolina in this matchup 85 to 15%. That's due largely to DUPR for Sunston.
Yeah, which is
4.261.
Yeah.
We
were
feel
talking earlier,
watching
that
her
seemed
play
low.
today. Probably due to a lack of competitive matches. She definitely plays at a higher level than that. Hutter hurt his hand bracing into that slide. Or just say ow, wringing out that hand.
Smart play there by Bauer. They're doing a really good job mixing it up.
Hutter giving the all clear that he's good to go. Huh. Scorpion from Hutter, necessary. Well, not that we're anywhere close to having it forced, but if we were to get to a dream breaker, you look at the singles prowess of Jake Bauer. I mentioned earlier he qualified for the pro singles main draw at the PPA Daytona. Ranked globally number 126 in the world in singles, which is darn good for a professional, but playing in the college ranks. Again, just put a pin in that. Sarah Carpenter saying, what a shot, and Sunston kind of gave the look. I know it was lucky, but
Yeah.
sometimes just putting your paddle out there, net a positive result. And doubles it up. Carpenter joking with Zoe Routston over on the Florida bench. That will force the end change, and that little roll from Ian Hutter. So 11-7 for Carolina in must-have territory now, having dropped both men's and women's doubles to the Florida Gators. Gators a game away, but how easy will that game come? Right back to Pickle and Social. (11-7) for the Carolina Tar Heels in mixed doubles game one. Well, that was great defense from Bauer, even though didn't land in.
Yeah, it was a
Knew
good
it was
play
coming.
there. Yeah.
And this is a strategy I like. Hutter playing straight in front, straight behind you again. Cam Meeks will handle it.
Cam got it.
Ball coming over. Can't see us just off screen, but our broadcast table down in the bottom right. Yeah, somebody in the crowd cheering for us. Gave us a let's go. But what I was about to say was I like Hutter just playing straight in front at Martina Sunston.
Yeah.
14-7. Great pressure by Sarah Carpenter. And a timeout taken by the Florida Gators. Well, we're not there yet, and we've seen big comebacks in games, but 15-7 commanding lead for Carolina. Let's look ahead. Players shouldn't do that, but we can. Over here to what would be Jana Shaw and Matt Nesbitt against Zoe Routzen and Christian Franke. And that would be really interesting because, again, Nesbitt is the lefty, and he would be playing the right side straight ahead at Christian Franke. And the patterns in that game, I think, would be remarkable.
Yeah, I think that's really going to be the difference maker. Seeing the stats on how equal these two will be going into the second mixed match.
Carolina has a timeout remaining. Florida now does not in this game. Carpenter did not get the friendly tape. And Hutter apologizing for coming straight at Sunston.
That strategy has been working for them. I think he's going to keep at it.
It's always an interesting dynamic in mixed doubles, particularly in rec play. All of these women can handle the pace of any of the players in the field. But it's kind of that unwritten rule sometimes in rec play to not just continue to rip it.
That is true.
But when you get into tournaments like we're in here, you use all strategies available to you.
Absolutely.
I know I've done it in mixed doubles tournaments before. $17-9. Ian Hutter got over it pretty quickly. He's playing strong pickleball again like we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I think
Not
he
that he-
shook it off.
Not
after
that he
the
did
first-
in men's doubles. It's more of a testament to Christian Franke and how well he played.
Yeah, he was rock solid, consistent in that match.
I've always enjoyed Ian's demeanor. Haven't gotten to know him all that well, but I've commentated a number of his matches, watched a number more, and always seems to be a positive presence on the court. That's the surprise pickup from Sunston there. 18-11. Again, the pressure on Sunston, and you saw her have to fade a couple steps back off the line. Ridiculous pickup by Bauer, but Carpenter kept the heat on.
Yeah, they're really keeping the pressure on well now. Coming up on the match point here.
Game point. And there it is. Come on from Ian Hunter. We will come on along with both of these teams to a fourth game as Carolina able to force mixed doubles 2. We'll show you the Dupers in just a moment, but here's a preview of it. Duper says it's anybody's game at 50-50. Look at our match summary of our championship match. The number 1 seeded University of Florida and the number 3 seeded, that was the seeds entering the weekend. They mean little now. For the University of North Carolina, it was Florida, Routson and Sunston, prevailing in women's doubles 21-17. Bauer and Franke, very impressive in men's doubles 21-14. But the response from Carolina in mixed doubles won 21-12 for Carpenter and Hutter. And now we'll take a look at the matchup between Franke and Routson as they will take on Shaw and Nesbitt, and look at that. You can't get much closer than those cumulative dupers. 4.898 for Routson and Franke, 4.895 for North Carolina's Nesbitt and Shaw. And this one is going to be very interesting. I previewed it there a little ahead of time during mixed game 1. Frankie was the best player on the court in men's doubles. How will Carolina choose to approach this with the lefty Matthew Nesbitt and Zoe Routson laughing right now? There was kind of an entanglement there in the warm-ups, and she hit a ball, not expecting Matt Nesbitt to be standing there, and just barely avoided unpleasant feeling for Matt.
Yeah, I think Carolina's going to have to try to neutralize that backhand side of Frankie because it's just solid.
Yeah, always interesting when you have a lefty involved in mixed doubles because it puts the female players straight up and the male players straight up, generally. Miss hit on the game's first point from Routson. Yeah. You don't see it a ton in men's doubles because Hutter can cover so much of the court that Nesbitt doesn't need to, but you saw that cat-like quickness from Matthew right there.
Yeah, he's stepping up in this one and playing that role well.
Saw Carolina in a dramatic dream breaker down at Nationals in Dallas back in November. That was the height of tension. Well, sometimes sportsmanship's rewarded. That ball was out. Frankie couldn't tell and played through it and got rewarded for making the generous call.
Yeah, I think I said earlier the sportsmanship of all these teams has been really fantastic.
That's the shot right there from Routson that you need to help me with when we get home, Rich. That charging in backhand and just kind of take your eye off the ball.
Right.
Drives me nuts every time I do it. 3-all. And Carolina needs this game to force a dream breaker. Haven't had one on our live cast today. Able to play over to that backhand of Frankie. Shot he doesn't miss a lot. Christian Frankie from Naples, Florida. Home site, of course, of the U.S. Open. As Nesbitt not only goes up to get that, but chooses the most difficult angle possible. Wow, great shot from Routson and a little Dikembe finger wag afterwards.
Yeah. A little gamesmanship
Like
here.
that moxie. Nesbitt trying to get a little too cute with that backhand slice. Now, it was there for Frankie. He overcooked it, but I liked what Shaw did there. She didn't stay in the backhand to backhand. She went to his right foot.
Yeah, that was a smart play. I think they learned that from the last matchup.
Nesbitt has missed a couple shots in a row, and seen Matthew, like a lot of players, very hard on himself. Nesbitt taking his time, going to retrieve the ball, trying to gather himself. 8-6 for Florida. could be a championship ceiling game. Back into the pattern that Frankie desires.
Yeah, that's just too solid.
Nesbitt got caught, but Frankie couldn't pay it off. 7-9. Great shot. Not always advisable to back off and take it on the bounce, but shot wasn't coming in, and Frankie recognized it.
Yeah, she got caught a little bit far back on that one.
Great read and shot by Frankie, and no reason in the world for Nesbitt to be expecting that. It's been cross court all day long until it wasn't. It's been the Florida Gators all day long. 11-7, they lead, trying to earn a win in mixed doubles and claim a regional title. (11-7) for Florida and their serve. Change ends. And during the timeout, Ian Hutter, I believe, advised Jana Shaw to do just that instead of engaging Frankie, to take it straight at Routson. First attempt at doing so, unsuccessful, as is the second. Nesbitt not finding that nearly as humorous as it was in warm-ups.
Yeah.
13-7, Florida trying to pull away. One, two, three's the charm for Nesbitt on the put away. That one stung, hit Nesbitt just below the jaw.
Yeah, the face shot never feels good.
Let's see if that doesn't motivate. Sometimes when you're the player, obviously it was no ill intent from Routson. When you're the player that does that, it rattles you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Here's a good straight ahead dink from Shaw, and that's, I think, what you're going to have to do here.
Oh, wow.
It's Shaw ducking for cover. Nesbitt,
Great get there.
man on a mission the last few points.
Yeah, I think that locked him in there. It's interesting, too. I'm seeing more cross-court speed-ups than I have in the past.
Serve return, though, from Christian Frankie. Disrupt that little run from Carolina. 15-11. That sails just a bit long on Routson. shot by Christian Frankie. Nesbitt applauds on his paddle, rightfully so. And you can offer that little amount of doubt. Encouragement from the crowd both ways. 13-16. That was on the line for Shaw, and she knew it.
Yeah, she ripped that one.
14-16. And confusion in the middle to make it a one-point game, 15-16. And a timeout taken by Flood. Ian Hutter, the loudest one in the venue, getting up off the Carolina bench. Just heard him say to Jana Shaw, you're playing great, just keep doing it. 15-16, a Florida victory in this game. They're the champions of the Georgia Super Regional. Tar Heels come from behind, and we play a dream breaker. Sitting just to the left of the Florida bench. Hear a little bit of their strategizing during that timeout. They said, keep hitting good dinks, move him around, him being Matt Nesbitt. But instead, they attack Jana Shaw, and it's successful. 17-15. Shaw gets the best of it in the middle.
16-17.
See if Carolina can level this out.
And they can, 17 all. Really, after Florida had a big advantage early in this game, they've been able to stay away from that backhand pattern. And now Frankie trying to do a little too much. Until he changed his mind, he was going to try line, but Nesbitt was waiting there. That was going to be out. Routson had no way of knowing that. 19-17. Shaw wobbling. It's 19-18, still for Carolina. Serve to Florida. And Nesbitt gets the best of it. Carolina has a game point. Asking for it to get up, and it did not. 19-20. Again to the backhand of Frankie unsuccessfully, and it's 20 all.
Go, Matt, get over there.
20-20.
Nesbitt able to get over there.
Yeah, he's really squeezing that middle now. Leaving
Heard one
sideline
of the fans
open.
from the baseline say, come on, Matt, get over there. And he listened, 21-20. Look out. It's the serve return that's setting that up, Bridget.
Yeah.
21 apiece. Tried to do a little too much again.
Yeah.
Theatric shot.
Those moments, a little more patience.
Matt Nesbitt asking, do we have a timeout? Answered in the affirmative. He said, we'll take it. And I like this right here. Third opportunity to claim the game, to try to set this point up based upon what they think the Gators are going to do, based upon what the Gators have done.
Right.
Each of the previous 2 game points was a hard return to Jana Shaw.
Right. And we knew this was going to be a bit of a coin toss, and it has certainly proved that.
Yep, DUPR predictive analysis 50-50. And it was a hot start for the Gators. Got up big in this game. But a champions-like response from Carolina, which should come to expect at this point. Just having won a national championship a couple of years back, they're seemingly always in these moments in super regionals.
Yeah, they've done a good job of neutralizing Frankie the second half of this match.
And there it is. It'll be a dream breaker to decide it off the drive from Matt Nesbitt. What a comeback by the Carolina Tar Heels. Dropped men's and women's doubles, but claimed both mixed. And we've got a dream breaker to decide it here in Georgia.
Which one's Zoe?
it. We got what we all wanted in terms of the drama here at the Georgia Super Regional from Pickle and Social. Beautiful, sprawling facility here in Buford, Georgia. Carolina, Florida, Dreambreaker to decide it. And we look back at how we got here. It was Florida in both women's and men's doubles, but then Carolina comes storming back in mixed doubles, winning behind both Carpenter and Hutter and Nesbitt and Shaw. Florida selected their Dreambreaker lineup first, and they will come out this way. Jake Bauer, Christian Franke, followed by Martina Sunston and Zoe Routson. Countered by Carolina, who responded to the lineups. Matt Nesbitt, Ian Hutter, Sarah Carpenter, Jana Shaw. Now, a slight edge in DUPR goes to Nesbitt in this matchup, but I mentioned that Bauer is a phenomenal singles player as well. Carries with him. Global ranking, but Nesbitt, see that quickness and agility. He earns the first point for Carolina. Trying to go for too much, did Nesbitt. One apiece. Bauer able to claim back-to-back points.
Yeah, the return in the singles is so critical to setting up the point.
And right on cue, Nesbitt sails that long. So an early advantage for Florida. You look down to the female players. Martina Sunston be matched up against Sarah Carpenter. First Hutter and Franke. And Hutter couldn't believe that he misstruck that volley. And Hutter saying, in singles, I don't have to stay in this backhand pattern.
Yeah, that is true.
Great
And he
set.
did a good job of holding that backhand. It kind of threw Franke off.
Oh! And Hutter, the explanation after winning that point from the baseline, which is no small task. So 3 of 4 for the Gators, first rotation, but Hutter gets 3 of 4 in the second. And we're all square at 4. And for those unfamiliar with the Dreambreaker format, rotate every 4 points. In terms of players, first to 21, rally scoring, win by 2. And Carpenter, nifty shot there.
Yeah, right inside the line.
Great read at the very last moment by Carpenter, and it's 6-4. Had to have it for Sunston and got it by getting to the line. His first rotation, particularly with this crowd, very nerve-wracking.
Shot
And
there.
Carpenter, not pleased with her decision, gave an easy one to Sunston. So even through 3 passes, 6 apiece, and now Zoe Routson and Jana Shaw. Call my clarification that Routson does not have a tennis background, which generally lends itself to some singles experience. Routson's sheepish smile, she just found the baseline. Now 8-6. Under the table. Ball has become trapped, but Routson able to find it. 8-6. That was wide from Shaw. And it's 9-6.
I'd like to see Shaw get in a little quicker. She's kind of hanging back on that returner serve. She gets in here. There we go.
She did try to get in quicker, and Routson sends it long, but Zoe Routson took 3 of 4 to give Florida the lead. Nesbitt back out for Carolina against Jake Bauer. And an opening rip on the pass, cross court from Nesbitt. I mentioned earlier, these teams don't know each other very well in terms of competition, to the point that when Matt Nesbitt was responding by filling out the lineup card, another dazzling passing shot, this time with the open hand forehand for Nesbitt. He had to ask, which one is Jake? Even through all the first doubles matches, hadn't ironed that out. Bauer gets one back. I think if Carolina's going to prevail, they're going to have their men kind of lead the way here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key for them to get the edge.
Oh, and Bauer with a cold-blooded pass of his own. First 2 to Nesbitt, second 2 to Bauer. And 11-9, Florida maintains their 2-point edge. Will switch ends and also switch players as Hutter coming back out along with Christian Franke for Florida. Hutter took 3 of 4. First time, but the serve belongs to Franke on the end change. Hutter did a great job of closing off space on Franke.
Yeah, he's getting into the line and just kind of controlling the point there.
Franke did an excellent job covering a lot of court. Then the misfire. Back to even, 11 all. And Hutter, he had the angle that he wanted. Played that one from the baseline, and the missed shot from Franke was when he was attempting to transition. 12 all. Carpenter picked up the first 2 points the first time. And I think North Carolina desperately needs her to win this exchange here.
Definitely. I mean, it's so close.
Excellent return, though, from Sunston. Sunston, the Norwegian, moved to Orlando early in life. What a shot by Martina Sunston. She doesn't have a lot of lower body in that drive, and it kind of makes it deceptive. Carpenter had to have it.
Yeah, good play there. Saved by Carpenter.
13-14.
Sunston did not like her footwork on that point, so flip-flop from the first time. 2 points either direction, same result. We're even again at 14. Routson and Shaw. And first time through, Rachel, you said you wanted to see Shaw get to the net quicker. Won't have the opportunity.
You can sense the tension as it's been dead even so far. It puts a lot of pressure on your run of those 4 points. Wow.
Oh, what a
Pick up.
get from Shaw, and then able to hop on the balance beam and stay out of the kitchen. 15 all.
15-15.
Didn't find the corner, 16-15.
16-15.
Great shot. So split them. They're still even. Back to the top of the deck. And Nesbitt, Jake Bauer. 2 highest dupers in singles amongst these players.
16-16.
Yeah, it's about as close as you could possibly get.
Nesbitt, little look back. That was the longest point between these two. With that said, it wasn't all that long.
No. Thought they might get into a little cat and mouse there, but that's what finished it off.
Saw the ability to move around the court by Nesbitt, but Jake Bauer just too much.
17-17.
And Nesbitt kind of bluffed him there. Forced Bauer, I think, to change thoughts mid-swing. 18-17 for Carolina. Nesbitt thought he had the alley, couldn't find it. 18 all. Now for Hutter and Frankie. Will it end here? Waiting here, make sure in this heightened moment all is correct on the card. The official referee has it at 18-17, but it is 18-18.
18-17.
The crowd is saying that's not right, and it's not. Wouldn't have switched players, of course, if it was. So we'll get it there. 18-18. Frankie got in a position where he had to guess.
Yeah, went behind him there. That was a smart play.
19-18.
Guessing again. And it's championship point for the Tar Heels. Can Hutter seal the deal?
20-18.
Yes, he can. The Tar Heels, down 2-0, come all the way back and claim the Georgia Super Regional title in a dream breaker. Talk about intestinal fortitude, Rachel.
Yeah.
This Tar Heels group showcasing that championship pedigree.
Yeah, they definitely earned that one. And what a way to finish.
And just a gut-wrenching defeat for the Florida Gators. Just had a tremendous weekend, top to the bottom of all of the depth of their program on display. 3 teams in the quarterfinals, 2 teams in the semifinal, a 2-0 lead. Certainly nothing to hang their heads about. They put on a show as well here in Buford. But when it is a dramatic come-from-behind victory, that stain on the other side is just so difficult sometimes. But we'll see Florida again, of course, as both of these teams have qualified for nationals. What a start, though, to our collegiate tour here in Buford. The parity in pickleball really coming together, and that gives us showcases like the one we just saw. A lot of fun to call it with you, my friend.
Yeah.
Appreciate you making the trip all the way down here to Georgia as well. We'll talk to everybody again in early March in New Jersey, but the tour continues on to Columbus, Ohio. And once again, congratulations to the North Carolina Tar Heels. They are victorious. They win the $2,500 that comes with the win. Florida, the $1,000 and $6,500 in total prize money given out across the weekend. Thanks as always to DUPR, the Collegiate Pickleball Tour, MLP, and PPA for having us along for the ride. We'll talk to you again soon, but until then, for Cam Meeks and Rachel Roney, I'm John Laser. The title, Back Down Tobacco Road.